Hey mates, and welcome to more MtMtE. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about a figure I meant to talk about months ago. But then the HasLab came, and more Devastator came, and then more of the aerial bots showed up. And then there were 13 primes I covered, and I just, for some reason, Armada Red Alert just fell under the radar. I kept telling you I was going to review him. And I just kept slipping up. Oh, he kept falling between the cracks. Oh, poor Red Alert. He's such a fun figure. And today, I am excited to bring him to you. Because I meant to back in, like, February. Or was it April? No, it was April I meant to talk about this figure with you. And it's just been a long year with a lot of really fun and exciting Transformers. And there's just been so much to cover. And sometimes you forget about a figure and he just sits there on your Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus looking all pretty in his vehicle mode for months. I kept touching like, wait, I'm going to get to you this week. And then another part of Devastator would arrive. I'm like, well, I'll get to you next week. And then one of the primes would arrive. I'm like, I'll get to you next week. It's been like that all year with this guy, and I am excited to finally be able to bring him to you. So please sit back with your favorite beverage, relax, and give me a listen as I discuss Transformers Age of the Primes, Voyager Class, Red Alert, from the blind perspective. In his robot mode, of course. And if you're wondering, like, why robot mode? Well, I cover the robot mode and the vehicle mode in separate videos. That way, you know, if you like the robot mode more, you can watch the robot video. If you like the vehicle mode more, you can watch the vehicle video. Or if you just want to see how it transforms, I make a transformation video. That way, everything's separated and you can pick and choose what you want. Because in my opinion, Transformers are multiple toys / collectibles in one. So we get robot, we get vehicle, and we get a transformation. That's three things. That's more than most action figures give you. Though, I tell you, some action figures come with a lot more accessories. So, without further ado, please go below, hit all the buttons. Hit them all! Hit all the buttons everyone tells you to hit. And, of course, leave me a comment below letting me know what did you like most about Transformers Armada. Because, that was one of my favorite Transformers shows, next to Robots in Disguise. 2001, of course. The 2015 one, it's best never mentioned. I regret that I just mentioned it just a few moments ago. So, let's get into it immediately. Okay, first and foremost, you know what we like to do here on this channel? We like to do comparisons. And I have some comparisons. So, first and foremost, we're going to compare him to a Voyager, a deluxe class. It's Armada Wheeljack. Yeah, Armada Wheeljack. Now, Armada Wheeljack, the top of Armada Wheeljack's head comes to the collarbone area for Red Alert here. Red Alert has a tendency to fall backwards because Red Alert doesn't believe in heels. Okay, here they are side by side. We get the top of Wheeljack, Armada Wheeljack's shoulder goes just below the shoulder for, actually their shoulders are about on the same plane. Maybe if you just stretched out, there you go. Yeah, let's take a look now. Yeah. Your shoulder is just a smidge taller than Deluxe Class Armada Wheeljack's shoulder. I gotta specify Armada Wheeljack because there's a lot of Deluxe Class Wheeljacks out there. And you may want the right one. So that's actually, I like this version of the Sideswipe mold, which is Armada Wheeljack. It's one of my favorites because of that nice symbol on his chest that's etched out, and then you got that huge cut across it. Give me etched out Transformers symbols every day of the week, designers. Evan, if you're watching this right now, please, I want more textured Transformers symbols. Cat hair, sorry. Now, let's compare him to a Voyager class from Legacy. We've got Legacy, Voyager class Armada Starscream here. And for some reason, the Voyager classes for Armada have a tendency to just be like, yeah, we don't like heels. Like, really? Wait, is there something that could be Am I missing something right there? There's a noise. Is there a heel? Oh my god! I think there's a heel here. Holy crap! Just a second. Get your... I've never been able to figure this out because it's so hard to get that open. I've got to pull out my handy dandy key ring. Let's grab the handy dandy key ring and move to the pokey stick. Where's my pokey stick at? Alright, we got the pokey stick. Let's use the pokey stick, reach in there, and peel up these heels that I just learned about today. I've had this guy for months, and I've been complaining about this for months. Like, why don't you stand? I just keep him in his vehicle mode because he's terrible about standing. And here it is. Here are some heels that just do not want to leave his foot. Get out of the foot, you stupid heel. Ah! Ah, there we go. Oh my god. We got it. We got it. All this time, I had him falling backwards. Blind people problems, right? That's why we do this channel. Oh, so that fun little clip aside, and now he's got epic heels, and it's so much better. He's so much better with the heels. I feel a little dumb. Okay, alright, so, you know, if you can't laugh at your own mistakes, what do we ever laugh at? Let's now compare shoulder to shoulder, Transformers Voyager class Armada Starscream with Transformers Voyager class Armada Red Alert, and their shoulders are about on the same scale, and if we put them face to face, oh my god, Starscream, I swear, and you still want to fall backwards, even though we fixed the heel problem. There we go. Starscream, get your sword, move your sword away. Thank you. No. Starscream, oh my god. Starscream, stop it. No, Starscream, stop it. Why don't any of your joints ever want to just stay? It's definitely the negative on Starscream. He's kind of become looser as time goes by. Let's grab you and set you back up straight. Come on, stand up straight, sir. There you go. All right, now we're going to compare the two. There we go. Comparison. Starscream and Red Alert. Their heads are on the same scale. Starscream looks a little bigger than Red Alert, but that's because he's wider and his wings make him have a bigger silhouette than Red Alert. But weight-wise, Starscream and Red Alert, even though they come from completely different toy lines, we've got Legacy and we've got Age of the Primes, their weight is about the same. So we haven't seen a degradation in Voyager class between these two, which is always nice. So we're going to set our Starscream over here and have him, like, fall all over the place because he doesn't have any ratchets in his legs. I really wish he had some ratchets in his toes, his feet. That would have really helped that Starscream out a lot. It's just a couple of ratchets, you know? Okay, now one more comparison for the day. We've got Armada Optimus Prime in regular robot mode, not super mode. And we compare the shoulders. Armada Optimus Prime's shoulders just a bit taller. And we get them compared face to face. Armada Optimus Prime is a little bit taller than Red Alert. The top of Red Alert's head comes to about the top of Armada Optimus Prime's mouth. So they are, I think, decent in scale with one another. I believe that this works out pretty good for the two of them. And yeah, I know, I mistransformed off, Prime's shoulders again. It's always difficult to get these shoulders right. They never want to work right. Nuts. Knocking things over here, blind_Prime, all the time. So, that is the comparison with Prime there. They are definitely working well. I think this guy works well with the other Armada figures that we've received so far, and I am looking forward to receiving more Armada figures. Of course, I really want Hoist, because he was one of my favorites from the show. So, hopefully we get him. Either that, was his name Hoist? He was the, he was the crane truck thing. that they found in the sewers. I can't remember his name right now, but that was my favorite in Armada, and I'm hoping I get him. Because I really like the crane truck guy they found in the sewers. Like, what are you doing in the sewers, train truck? Why is a crane truck in the sewers? Okay, so let's now go in depth and talk about Armada Red Alert here in his robot mode. And this figure is, for one, I want to mention it first and foremost, very well done when it comes to the plastic. The weight-wise is pretty good, though he does have a heavy backpack. So that is a negative on him. This is a big heavy backpack, and he's got these ankles down here that don't like to lock in place too well. And sometimes they lock in place, and sometimes they don't. But you gotta, when you're transforming him, you want to make sure that when you do this with the leg, because the leg has two knees, you want to snap that in, and that will assist in making this the legs a lot sturdier, and it looks a lot better too. If I can just get this knee to bend, there it goes. Yeah, see, he's got a knee up here, and then he's got another knee lower that is just part of the transformation. So you should be aware of that. I swear to God, I need to. So now, let's talk about him from the bottom of his feet to the top of his... No! That heel went back in! Do I have to get the pokey stick out again? Crap. Come on, you stupid heel. This is definitely going to hurt him. The fact that you can't get these heels... There it goes. Alright, so I found out how to get the heel out best. You got to come in from the inside of the foot, and you got to put your fingernail into that the little groove right there beside the foot, but not on the outside of the foot, on the inside of the foot. And you got to drag your fingernail around, and then you can pull it out. There is a kind of a wall section on one side that makes it really difficult to pull out, but on the inside of the foot, that's very smooth and flat, and you can kind of squeeze your fingernail under there. So no need for a pokey stick. That's how you do it. On the underside of his feet, we got a bunch of hollowness, but that's expected by what we just did. But he does have two siege ports, which are on the toes. He's got toe ports. Nice. The articulation for his feet allow them to bend backwards with a ratchet, bend forwards with a ratchet. I love the ratchet. And a sideways tilt for the ankle tilt. The legs are very smooth and sleek. They remind me more of a scout class. Even though Hotshot's supposed to be the scout class, Hotshot's legs are really thick and strong, and he feels more like a bruiser. But Red Alert here has long, thin legs that feel like, he can run really fast, he can scout really well, and that knee joint is intense. That is an intense knee joint. Be aware of that. That is a very heavy ratchet. And once you lock this bottom joint in for the lower leg, it is very sturdy as well, and it's easy to break that connection. You just got to give it a nice pull, and it actually takes less of a pull to release the lower leg section than the knee. So be aware of that. Don't grab it down here towards the foot to try and bend the knee, because all you'll do is bend that little hinge. You don't want that. You want up here at the knee. Yeah. So on the front of his leg, we've got some really fun little, very thin armor slots. And then we have a knee pad that's actually got a little bit of a triangle thing on it. And it's got a little round section right there at the top of the knee. I like that. I like how this knee has this, it's an elliptical feeling shape. And then in the center, we've got this polyhedron style shape. Or is that another ellipsis? That's another elliptical shape in the center of the elliptical shape. That makes him have knee eyes. Yeah, knee eyes. Okay, so his thighs, we move up here. We've got not really much going on with the thighs, and I would definitely fault this guy a lot more for this if it wasn't for the fact that there's not much going on with the lower legs either. Like, there's a type of texture that they're trying to portray here, and they're getting it across very well. There's a continuation of texture all the way to the top of the thighs, and I think that works out very well. The thighs could have had more texture, but then again, you would have missed out on this nice, kind of uniform aspect of these legs, and I approve of that. And then he's got these side panels where his wheels are. Now, these side panels, you can move them around, so you can lower them down where the wheel is facing forwards, or you can spin it around where the wheel is facing down towards his feet, And of course, it makes it kind of feel like he's got a big old cargo pants pocket on the side of his thigh. And that works out pretty well. The biggest negative to this isn't a negative at all because it's right there. That's what I love. I love me a nice port. Do we have anything to plug into that port? Oh, yeah, we do. We've got nuts. That heel just folded in. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, cool. We've got something fun to showcase. So we're gonna grab Optimus Prime's side gun and his other sidearm gun. Give me your forearm guns. Prime. Give me your gun. Prime, give me your gun. Thank you. All right. You don't need it right now, Prime. All right. Now we're gonna see if this works out pretty good. There we go. And we finally get. Do we finally get it? Yes, we've got a holster. He's got thigh holsters. So excited about thigh holsters. We don't get them very often in Transformers, but when we do, I want to point it out to you because I love thigh holsters. I think it works out pretty good for the Transformers, and it's even better when they can actually reach down and grab that if their arms are the right length. So he can, like, you know, move that around to his hand, and it can be like he reaches down and pulls up the thigh gun and just starts blasting away with it. I think that's cool. That is fun, and that is something you can definitely do. Of course, you can also put it up here on his forearm if you wanted him to have a forearm gun, though it doesn't sit in that siege port very well. So you can just set it back down here, off to the side. There we go. Nice. And the textures on this guy, on his little side panel, are very similar, are the rear textures of the vehicle. So we got the rear lights that roll over, and the texture quality for the vehicle mode is top notch. I think it's excellent, and I absolutely adore it. So, moving on from the legs, we've got 90 degree, a little more than 90 degree on the knee, and that fell off his thigh. So the thighs can go up to 90 on the side kick. They can kick, let's move that arm up a little bit more, they can kick a little more than 90 on the front, and then on the back, they get less than a 90 because of his big old backpack. He's got a big old backpack. It's huge. So, that is the thigh area. His groin doesn't really have much going on here, though I think, judging by that, let's check the rear of the groin. Do I have his groin backwards? Nope, I had it right. There's just a weird little hole. That's odd. So his groin area is not too bad, but we come up here to his core, and we've got that he's got some core, like ab muscles kind of etched in here, his ab area. It's rounded on the sides, and it comes down to his groin area. We've got inside of that, let's see, what do we have in there? We've got a couple of textures, but there's not really much going on. There is a fun circle texture, like it's the center of his transmission or something, and it's right there. It's got a little port in it. I think that's weird, but it's definitely a unique and interesting texture for the ab, and I approve of unique and interesting textures. I love them. Now we're going to move up here. Up there went the other thigh holster. So up here on his chest area, like his chest prominent, you know, he's one of those Transformers that has the hood of a vehicle become the top of his chest, so it sticks out a bit more. We've got some really well done headlights. We've got some, oh wow, I love, this vehicle mode is just amazing when it comes to the textures, and we see that right here with his, with his robot mode. And of course we've got an antenna, because he's one of the Transformers, the only one that I know of that actually has an antenna that we've released in modern day. So he's got a siege port on his hood, and you can plug one of his little, one of his arm guns into that and give him an antenna, and you can always switch it out with the other arm gun if you want. I think that's neat. You get a little antenna. You know, why do we get an antenna? Because why not? And that's the stuff I love. You know, it's just, why not do something fun like that and give us a little antenna for our cars? And I really hope that we see more stuff like this in the future of Transformers. Down the road, I hope we get more interesting places to plug weapons in. This is fun. This is unique. You can take this out and put in a gun, and then you can have a crazy awesome chest gun. So that is definitely something that you can do with your figure that I approve of. I think that adds a lot of options and variety and customizability to your Armada display, and I definitely approve of it wholeheartedly. And I hope that we get more things like this in the future. Now, moving on to his head, we've got a really fun feeling head here. And this guy, it takes me back to the show, and I remember this character. It's like, you know, I had forgotten about this character, and he's one of the three main characters. You play as him in the video game, and I'm like, how did I forget about him? And here he is, and I'm like, oh, right, yeah, I remember this guy. He was like the science officer of the team. I love it. So we've got a really nice little head area. It's solid, it's sturdy. We come over here to the arms, and the arms each have this crazy awesome pauldron that is made up of the side doors of his vehicle mode, which is excellent. And those side doors have some really fun textures to them, and they even have little rear view mirrors. I love it when they add us when they give us rear view mirrors. Then we come down here to the arm, and we've got a little latch thing on the side of the upper arm where you can actually move this down and lock it into place if you want. To have his shoulder pauldron just be his his upper arm armor, his bicep armor, or you can lock it into place to be a shoulder pauldron. And that's more of the customizability and the ability to change this guy up however you want, which I really approve of. Elbow gets a double jointed elbow. Yeah, we get a double jointed elbow with this guy. How awesome is that? That is and they're ratcheted. They're ratcheted double elbows. It's just he's a lot of fun. He is a fun figure. He's got a bicep swivel in his arm, and his arm has a we've got a siege port on the lower arm, and texture wise it's very minimal. And it's very similar, and it keeps with the uniform of the legs. So his arms and his legs have very similar textures to them. Even his hand can rotate. Does it open? No, but it rotates. His other arm is very similar. But on his other arm, he's missing his hand. He only has a siege port. Now, we've seen this before in other Transformers, but usually it's because the hand can fold into the arm. We haven't seen a guy like this since the tank guy that I can't remember the name of right now. The one who we got in Siege, and he's missing a hand and he has a hook, and that guy's a lot of fun too. So we get the occasional Transformer missing a hand, and I like that this guy didn't come with just one thing to plug in. He came with two, so you can take this antenna piece and you can plug it into his arm, and then you can take the piece that you plugged into his arm and he can plug back onto the antenna area. It's like where he stores his extra hands, how the G.I. Joe classified bats store them on their back. This guy just stores his extra hand on his hood, and that's clever. I like that. So we're moving around here to the back, and we've got the mini-con port, which is this siege peg sticking out of his back area. Towards the bottom of the back, and then next to that we have this piece that is his Armada weapon. So when you plugged in the port, the minicon to this port down on his lower back, close to his butt area, you would this little gun would pop out of the side of his vehicle, the side of his backpack, and fold over his shoulder to be an awesome shoulder cannon that he gets to use, and that's fun. I think the cool shoulder cannon is definitely a bonus. I mean, is it as good as what Starscream gets? No, because Starscream gets two shoulder cannons that he can portray. Yeah, he gets two shoulder cannons, and Red Alert only gets one. But then again, Red Alert only needs one shoulder cannon, and the shoulder cannon can rotate. Oh, and it's also on its own port, so you can. It's on a peg thing. It's not a siege port, sadly, but it does pop off if you're not careful, and you have to kind of snap that guy back into place. So it doesn't take much to snap it back in. You just got to kind of line it up and hopefully not drop your Red Alert while you're doing that. Come on now, you're on camera in front of everybody. There it goes. There we are. Yeah, it doesn't take much to put that back. And it is a really cool addition to it. And I like the textures on it. It feels sci-fi, it feels smooth, it feels sleek, and it feels like something that just kind of transformed out of the back of a car. It's a very well hidden gun that I really like, you know. It's definitely a really nice bonus piece to have, and I approve of the fact that they gave us the fun shoulder cannon for Transformers Armada Red Alert. Now, my final thoughts and feelings on this guy, I really, really like him. He is a fun action figure, he is a fun Transformer, and he's a fun little vehicle. Nuts. He's a fun little vehicle mode. Always knocking everything over here. So, I'm going to have to give this figure an A+. Actually, nah. His robot mode's getting an S ranking, in my opinion. I think this is an excellent robot mode. It is highly articulated. It is very fun. It feels great in the hand, and it is solid. You know, I was going to give him a lower score, but we learned about the heels on today's video, and that changed the game for him. That took away the biggest negative for this figure and made it into quite a decent positive. So this is definitely a must-have in my opinion, especially if you're like me and you're collecting the Armada stuff. Of course, you know, I haven't collected all of the Armada stuff. I'm still, you know, I refuse to get that Titan. I'm sorry. I reviewed it on the channel and it just did not click with me. It was not fun at all in my opinion, and I sent it back. No. I know, I sent a Titan back. Wow. But I have high standards sometimes, especially when it comes to Transformers Armada, because I want the best of the best for this series, because that was a TV show I desperately loved and enjoyed, and I'm glad that we're getting figures like Transformers, Age of the Primes, Armada, Voyager Class, Red Alert. Thank you again for watching. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now. I've been Blind Prime, and this thing sleeping all the way over here on the side has been Cream the Cat. Cream. Cream. Look, people love you, Cream. They like you on the camera. You should show up more. Yeah, you big old cat. You giant orange cat. You giant orange monster. Who's a giant orange monster? You're a giant orange monster. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.